Hello everyone, my name is Jen and welcome to the book review. All right, my darlings, welcome back to another weekly wrap up. And for those of you who are channel members, I'm so sorry this is going up late. For the rest of you, this won't seem late at all, but for me it was. I went to visit my hometown for Thursday and Friday, and I was supposed to be back this morning. But yesterday my dad was looking at my car for me, and the thing that he thought was broken wasn't the thing that was broken. So it was a whole ordeal. We had to order a part that didn't come in until the morning, but then he had to work this morning. So I didn't even get on the road until 4 p.m. And normally I would just wait a week to film a video, but there's a couple of reasons why I don't want to wait. Number one, I straight up just really I like filming my weekly wrap-ups, and my videos, I'm finally getting back on track and getting videos up when I want them to. And so the algorithm is finally being good to me again. And I know that there are certain amounts of you that are going to watch me no matter what. And I appreciate that with my whole heart. Like I really do. But this being my business, I have to appease the YouTube rules as much as I can if I want to stay relevant, as it were. But I'm very, very thankful to you guys, and especially we have 2 new supporters to welcome here. Well, actually 3, because we have someone who has been, no, 2 people, sorry, I wasn't reading this thing well, who are new to my channel memberships, who help me make it possible to do these things. So we have Marticia M, and we have Halsya, sorry if I said that weird. Screen names are strange sometimes, but you know who you are. You just joined this last week. Thank you both so much for joining, and I hope you enjoy getting this video early by like 12 hours instead of the normal like 24, but what can you do? What can you do? It is all right. It is all right. Also, I'm annoyed because I wanted to be able to watch Blood of My Blood during the day today so that I could film that video too, but I'll need to watch it tonight, and then I'll probably film it tomorrow after church. But that video did, you guys know I give some of the behind the scenes. That video did so well. I'm so happy going up on a Tuesday. So I know I've spoken before about possibly removing my Tuesday videos just because to ease some of the load of how many videos I've been doing. But because that one did so well on a Tuesday, and I plan to review this season anyway, we'll just keep it on the Tuesday video for now. So that was great. Thank you to everyone who watched that. I'll talk more about that on that video that will go up. But I wanted to watch that earlier today, but I will watch it tonight. Maybe I'll get some of my Sassenach whiskey, my one shot of it that I have every time a new season starts, and we'll do that. So anywho, wanted to get that out there. Welcome the new members. This is why this video is a little late. Also, I'm annoyed because we're going to lose the light very quickly. So, but the thing is, I have 6 books to talk about with you, which is about the average of what it's been lately. But 2 of the books I can't really talk about because one of them is for a book club and one of them is a secret project. So this should be a relatively smooth one, though I do have a lot to say about a couple certain books that we have. So without any more rambling, let's get into the books that I read, all right? So the first one that I did was a new to me author. I actually had 2 new to me authors this week. That's cool. I listened to Make Me Yours by Jennifer S. I'm not going to try to say her name. I haven't heard it pronounced anywhere as of yet. So we're just going to say Jennifer S. And this was a hockey romance of friends to lovers. Honestly, it was really reminding me of like a Stephanie Archer, as I've read 2 of her books recently. Though this one did get a bit edgier. I mean, there's some pretty sexy stuff in Stephanie Archer's books. I know that we don't always think of them that way when they're a trad pub with one of the animated covers, but Stephanie Archer, if you've read her, you know, like, she turns up the heat. And this one was, man, the level of edging that this hero did. I was right along there with it. So this was duet narrated by Vanessa Edwin and Christian Fox. Great pairing. And in this, we have Lila and Steele. And as has been happening a lot lately, our heroine ends up finding out that her partner is cheating on her, blah, and also that he's going to be getting with someone from her company, and so she basically loses her job and the place to stay all at once, if I'm remembering correctly about this one. Honestly, so many of those are blurring together with me because there was the Lena Hendricks that had that trope. There was, oh my gosh, the next one I'm going to talk about also has that trope. So I am just drowning in the ex cheated and somehow the heroine is the bad guy. But this is another one too where like she is actually from a very like wealthy family, and yeah, the guy cheated on her. Great. Yeah, cool. But the good stuff came in where she is pretty much best friends with Steele. They've been friends for a while, and there's just never been a chance for him to make his move with her because they've always been with somebody. We know how it is. But this time, she needs a place to live, and she's going to need a new job because she was like a lawyer at where she was working before, and now she's lost that. So she becomes the PA to Steele. And of course, he's a millionaire hockey player. He can definitely cover that for her. And she moves in with him. Okay, so it's that type of friends to lovers. He's finally trying to work it up to finally share his feelings with her. She, of course, is now living with her best friend, so even more so she doesn't want to blur the lines. But he ends up edging them into, see, that came back around, into a friends with benefits situation because he's like, I'll make her so obsessed with me. And then by the time she's going to leave, I'll pounce that I really want us to be together forever. So kind of a classic situation in that. But I really liked it. And like I said, the tension in this was so good. And the hero just kept like, there was multiple scenes of him, as I said, edging her or him getting her off, but not letting them consummate their relationship yet because he really was trying to build those feelings instead of, you know, just being honest that for him, this is bigger than just being able to have sex with her. But overall, I really liked it. The narration was wonderful. Like I said, it got a little bit kinky here. There was some breath play. Hand necklaces were a big thing. And I think he jokes, I think it's this one. Is it this one they joke about it? Where he says he's going to get like a pearl necklace tattooed on his hand. I think it's this one. One of the books I read in the last 2 weeks did that. Or was that in Stand and Defend? Now I'm blurring them together. I'm sorry if I mixed that up. That might have been in Stand and Defend. But I know there's hand necklaces in this one. So if you have read this one, tell me if I was right or if that was Stand and Defend. Because both of those, they like that. I think it might have been that one. But, so, anyway, whatever. There are hand necklaces. There are some fun times with these two. But yeah, cheating ex, and somehow she's the bad guy. You know, that's how it goes. Next up, I read a book for work with Noelle, but it's also one that I've been wanting to read forever because I actually bought a copy of this one ages ago when I found out that she had a series inspired by Jane Austen stories. And so I found this used, which is why it's a little like dirty and beat up here. But this is called In Want of a Wife. And this is book 1 in the Pemberley House series. And something that I'm encouraging Noelle to do, like I've planted the seed, I hope that it happens, is that these will get new covers and possibly a special edition that has like all 3 of the books together. Because these are all just a little over novella length. And this one is called In Want of a Wife, and it is a Pride and Prejudice retelling. And then there's one that's If I Loved You Less. And one that is Loved None But You. And I can't remember. I know one of them is an Emma retelling because there is a Mr. Knightley that we get introduced to. And I can't remember what the third one is. But anyway, this one is a Pride and Prejudice retelling, In Want of a Wife. And it is about Liz, who works in like antique markets, and she keeps running into this guy named Vince Darcy, who of course is cold, arrogant, and detached from genuine feelings. And he's someone who she's always coming up against when she goes to these like estate sales to try to find antiques for her family to, you know, sell in their shop and everything. And her sister is falling for his best friend, which her sister is she straight up just Jane in here? I don't remember, but it's that type of thing. It is Jane. Yep, her sister's Jane, and then Charlie, you know, Jane and Charles being like, that's the other couple. here. And so they just keep running into each other at these. And what I like about this one, this is a bit unique for Noelle, is that this is dual third-person POV, which I know not everyone cares for, but I really liked in this one because that is kind of something you get. If you've read Pride and Prejudice, you know that we do get some of Darcy's POVs in it as well. And so you just truly get to see that not all of his like arrogance is him being arrogant. He's quiet. He's more shy than you'd realize. But yeah, they end up having kind of a like, it's not an enemies, but they have like a rivalry relationship because of the work that both of their families is in, and they keep running into each other at these and, you know, trying to vie for the same pieces they're trying to buy and everything. So this was totally cute. I had so much fun reading it. Again, I don't rate these books that I read for her anymore because I'm doing content stuff out of it, and I just don't feel like it's fair to rate books by my boss and stuff like that, or the author I work for. But this is really cute. I will leave a link to it and show it some love if you too would be interested in reading these ones, or if you would like there to be special editions of them. I think they're really cute, and I'm excited to see what she comes up with for wanting to like repurpose those, because I think, you know, Pride and Prejudice retellings, we can never have too many of them, right? They are the quintessential like enemies to lovers, class difference type of story we get, right? Okay. All right, next up, I had another ALC that was Axe Backward by Daphne Elliott. Now, this one is book 4 in the series, but it's the first one I've read. I signed up for an ALC with this company. This is with Home Cooked Books promo. I've done a few with them, and I really wanted to try out this series. So I ended up getting ALCs for this one, and I have it for the last one in the series. This whole series is available now. And these are the Maine lumberjacks, as in like Maine, the state lumberjacks. And the hero was a hotshot fire jumper, and now he is the guardian / single dad to his best friend's orphaned daughter, and he's become a dad. I don't want to, of course, tell you the full details of it, but he was made the guardian to this child, and then when she's really little, her parents die, and he now takes his new daughter home with him to visit his family, to kind of take a break. You know, he's on bereavement leave, and he also knows that he can't do the same job he was doing because he is the only person that this sweet little girl has now. And so, because there weren't any families of either of those two that really were worth anything, is kind of the point. And so he goes home, and he has oodles of brothers and a mom. And he goes and is staying near home again and is reconnecting with his family. And now he has this little apartment that is connected, or like shares the building with our heroine, who is Victoria. So Noah's the hero, Victoria is the heroine. And when they first really interact is that he stays up at night pacing and holding the little girl like strapped to his chest because she won't go to sleep any other way. And he just can't bear to try to sleep train her because he's like, this poor little girl has had so much trauma. He would do anything for her. Like, truly, this man would do anything for her. What's cute in the story is he has like 3 or 4 different types of ways to wear the baby, which if you've seen the cover, like that's what's on the cover is him wearing her too. He has front ones, back ones, the comfy one she sleeps in, one he uses when they go hiking. He is like super dad. And what's really sweet is how his family wants to just rush in and help. And because this is book 4 in a series, even though I haven't read the other 3, you know, there's already his brothers have partners, and I believe one of them already has a kid too. So his mom is just so happy to have another grandchild to love. His family completely accepts this little girl, and it's beautiful. But one night when he's staying up pacing, it's driving the heroine crazy. She just can't get to sleep with his pacing. And so she ends up going to the door, not realizing, you know, why he's awake. But she knocks on the door to kind of chew him out and be like, dude, I need you to chill. I need to sleep. But she sees that is this kind of frazzled dad walking around with the baby, and she ends up kind of jumping in and being like, you know what, how about we take turns? Which is just crazy that she does this, but it is a small town, and she's genuinely a woman who cares a lot. And so she just volunteers to step in. And so it begins this pattern of they will take shifts holding the baby basically and take turns sleeping for a good part of this. Now, Victoria is in this small town because of, as I said, there'd be another one of these. Her fiance ended up cheating on her with her sister and actually got her, not even fiance, I apologize, her husband. She was married to this man, okay? And he slept with her sister, and her sister is actually pregnant. And this is devastating on multiple levels, one of them being that our heroine has had fertility struggles, and the fact that he so easily got her sister pregnant is just another stab in the heart. And then another one to this being devastating is, as I said, the parents suck balls because they are not only disappointed in her somehow for getting a divorce, but they're also disappointed that she isn't more supportive of her sister now marrying her ex-husband. So this was one of these that, like, guys, the believability factor of this was so difficult. And I know lately I have bitched more than I would like, okay? I've bitched more than I would like about families being so awful in romances. And I understand the purpose to a certain degree, right? You want the hero to show how different he is than those people and all of that. But it also just gets so like, why does everyone's parents have to be awful? And why is it always when cheating is involved, you know? Like, it'd be one thing if like people just grew up in a shitty family and then like whatever. But why is it always when the guy cheats, then the family is mad at her? Like, that trope just needs to stop. Like, it just needs to stop. Yeah, there is a tiny bit of a character arc for their family in a way. But yeah. But what I love about this story is his family. I love the town. And I love, like, what the heroine's job is here. She actually takes over, like, running a food pantry for her aunt, I believe, is what the setup was. And so she's needing to do like fundraising in this small town, and she's trying to get investors in this food pantry. And I love how everyone helps her out with that. So I had a very pleasant time listening to this. The narration was excellent. This one was narrated by Gabriel Spires and Samantha Cook. I believe I have heard Gabriel Spires not too long ago, but he's a newer one to me. But I definitely know Samantha Cook. I've listened to her for sure. And then this also had some rep for kind of like neurodivergence in the hero of like, I believe he has like ADHD. And he also can get very like stressed and fidgety about things. That's one of the reasons he first started pacing like with the baby, is because that's just what he wants to do. Like sometimes he has a lot of energy he can't get rid of when he's stressed or things like that. And I thought that was handled well. And also the heroine, just having like some crippling anxiety and things like that and having to deal with their parents. So one other aspect I should add is the fake dating part, because she helps him out with the baby, and when he finds out that she's supposed to go to the wedding of these cheating assholes, he volunteers to go with as her fake boyfriend, even though her family is going to be like looking down at him because he is or was a firefighter. We hate them. Like, we hate them. But because I just was so, like, I was really frustrated with certain aspects of this, even though I was enjoying the listen. So I did end up giving this one 4 stars, and it was a 2.5 on the spice scale. And yeah, there is the trigger warnings, as I said, for infertility, the death of like a friend, the death of a parent for the child. And there is some fire-related danger in here as well. Okay, next up, the one that we'll need to talk about a bit deeper than some of the others, and that is To the Chase by Julia Wolf. Now, I want to be fully honest about 2 things. I'm always honest to the best of my ability, but I did not hate this book at all, okay? I still loved it. There are still aspects of this that are better than anything else out there. Just, if you've been around, I have a very like special relationship to Julia Wolf books. I hold them to a very high standard because I know that Julia can meet them for me, okay? And she often writes very what we call like difficult heroines. Like, I don't even like using that because I'm like, we're all just different. We all have different levels of assertiveness, different levels of bitchiness, different levels of like, don't fuck with me. And Julia writes them very well. There was just something about how Salvatore was paired with B, and the way that B constantly was struggling with believing him of certain things. And there was a few parts of this that got all wrapped up in a neat little bow near the end of the book. And I just didn't quite buy it. And I'll tell you why. And part of it is just because Julia builds characters so well, and what their conflict is going to be. Even when you can see their conflict coming, she often will usurp what it ends up being. And so you then see how the characters have worked on their issues. Because what you foresee from the beginning being a third act conflict, because of the journey the characters have went on, that thing we're usually so anxious about being the drama ends up being like, whoop, actually, I have grown from what we have done in the story, and now I'm not making that choice, right? I hope that makes sense to you. Oftentimes in books, authors don't have their characters grow, and they still have the third act have the same drama that has been going on the whole time. And you're like, did we not learn anything in this? Do we not have a character arc, right? And so it ends up leading to a dark romance moment. It can also be a dark romance. It ends up leading to a dark moment where I'm annoyed that it's a third act breakup, because I'm like, did the characters learn nothing? That truly, I know I complain about improper third act breakups quite often, but it's because if it's going to be a third act breakup, I don't want to have been seeing it from chapter 2, what the breakup scenario was going to be, because then it's like, if that problem that I saw from the beginning, your characters don't work out a way around it, I just feel like, well, what journey did you have the characters go on? That doesn't mean there still can't be third act breakups in the story, but if it is the thing I think it's going to be from the very beginning, I'm then pissy with the characters, because I'm like, could you not foresee this being a problem at all? But I think some authors, that is what their plan is the whole time, and so they inadvertently are leading you to it the whole way. Now, again, that is stuff I often will look over in books because I know the structure of romance novels. I'm not generally expecting anything more than what I'm getting. But with certain authors who have usurped that before, I expect them to continue to do that. Maybe that's wrong. I think Elsie Silver does a good job often usurping that. She has been able to do a third act breakup in an amazing way to me many times. Where it does not happen the way that I foresaw it happening. And that's often what pushes a book into 6 stars for me from her, because it's like there was still managed to be a full-bodied story with the conflict and the growth, and I still feel so satisfied. And I believe that our couple will stay together forever because they're able to handle conflict and not get thrown off track by the smallest of things. Okay, that was a whole long ramble. But I'm just setting up some stuff for you because I'm going to share some pretty harsh critiques that I have. But at the end of the day, that is because Julia Wolf is my top tier author. She's in like my top 3 authors who currently are writing stories right now. And I think she's fantastic. And I still think this book is fantastic. Just go look at some of the reviews from other people who will be gushing about it, including a lot of you who watch this, who are reviewers, who've read it. You are absolutely right to gush about it. There are just certain things for me that it doesn't matter how swoony the hero was. I don't like the heroine for him. So therefore, I don't care how swoony he is because he deserved better. He deserved to be understood better than the heroine did. And I think he's almost settling for her. And that's harsh. I know that's harsh, but I'm going to explain the reasons. But they will be spoilery. This one's been out for over a week now, so I feel okay doing that. But if you don't want any of those, I'll tell you briefly the things I liked and didn't like that are non-spoilery. And then I'm going to do some spoiler section because I want to, damn it. I want to explain myself in a way that I didn't in the review because I did review it as an arc, and I wasn't going to write 10 pages on these minute things that bothered me, but they're big things to me because I love this author so much. Okay, did we do that? All right. So things I loved. We have Salvatore, who, if you don't know, if you're not, don't know the Julia Wolf extended universe, Salvatore is actually from Sweet Like Poison. He went to Savage U in California. He knew Locke and Elena. Yes, Elena gets a shout out in this story for sure about how she said that Sal had a horse dick and it got the girls And he got a lot of the women to stop teasing him when they were in college and want to sleep with him because Elena lied and said that he had a horse dick, which was funny. So we love Elena. We love when she shows up. But he is neurodivergent. He is a coder. He is a tech guy. He has those slutty little man glasses that we've seen. And this story is one of kind of a second chance because these two meet each other. They have actually a couple of dates, and then Sal ghosts her. And 2 years later, they finally meet again, and he wants a second chance. And she's like, you just ghosted me. And he doesn't quite answer for that right away. But he's like, please give me a second chance. There's also this app that he's a part of developing, that it's one that she ends up talking with and using it kind of as AI. I thought it was an interesting choice to be using AI in a book also, especially with some of the discussions lately. I mean, that's a weird thing to say. I know it is, but for the job that the AI does in the story, you're not really supposed to think of it as being an AI anyway at all. And you'll see what I mean if you've read it. But I won't lie, that it rubbed me the wrong way a little bit because I fucking hate AI. And I was like, really, do we have to put this in there? But that's just me. Okay? I had a hair in my mouth. So, so anyway, he's also a guardian to 3 of his sister's kids. And he kind of co-raises them with his dad, Tony. And they end up being, why? Sorry, people are screaming outside. I just want to finish this video for y'all, okay? I'm going to push through here. And yeah, so his kids are cute. So B, she is in her 30s. She doesn't want kids, so that's a thing too. And he also doesn't reveal that those are his kids until far too late into the story. So there's that. But anyway, she also works at his business doing a catering job, I think weekly, for a business meeting. Now remember, B is kind of in business with, oh great, I don't remember her name, but the heroine from Not So Truly Yours. I can't remember what her name is. I can't remember what her name is right now, but she's the one who does like the charcuterie boards, and they're kind of like working together to do different catering jobs. They will like pair up and everything. And so she is doing the spread for this meeting. And so it's a way for Sal to see her at least once a week. And he will come and sit in there while she puts it together and use it as an excuse to talk to her. And basically, when she finally gives him a chance, he is going to do everything that he can to win her over. But I do want to put out there again, like, he is neurodivergent. It's very clear. He talks about how he gets obsessive about certain things, and sometimes certain things aren't the top of his mind, and he needs help being brought back to that. And, yeah. So that's just something to remember that goes throughout the story. And also this has, to the chase, this does have one scene of primal play in it. Again, we were very much teased with that. She will kind of switch between, she does praise him a lot. She calls him good boy a lot in the bedroom. So there's a lot of like praise coming from that. She's not like full on dom with him or anything, but she's very like, shall we say, like, commanding of certain things. So there's that. And yeah, it was sweet for what it was. I know a lot of people, they're going to praise Salvatore up one side down the other, and I completely get it. He's dreamy as hell. Now I'm going to get into some of the issues, so I'm going to go into spoilery stuff. But just so you know, overall, I gave this a 4-star. It was like a 2.5, 3 on the spice scale. To me, it's just a weaker one. That happens. Honestly, if you look back in the history of these, the 3rd books in her series, well, if it's the last book in her series have always been like the weakest one for me in general. I was going to say like the 3rd books are often my favorite books when you go through series as well. But the last books, I feel like aren't the ones that she wrote the series for, if that makes sense. And so, I don't know. That's just an observation of mine, because I'm looking back and like, there are just ones that the first 2 books in this series were each 6 stars for me. And I've reread those books so many times, and they've stayed at a 6 star for me. So I will be rereading To the Chase because I need to annotate it for one of my viewers who gets all of the Julia Wolf books. And one thing I will try to do when I reread this book is just see things more from B's point of view. But there are a few things about her that just really bug me. So anyway, if you don't want any spoilers for this, go ahead and skip until I hold up a different book, but I will briefly talk about the spoilers. And I do mean briefly because, again, I don't want to rant about Julia Wolf's book. I got to get it off my chest what was pissing me off about a few things. So, all right. One of the main things that bugged me about this wasn't just like B as a whole. It was how much the like kind of sort of villain of this book was fucking with them, and how so easily B believed it every time. Okay. To me, truly the only secret he kept was about his kids, which I know that is a big one, but I understand that for him, he didn't know how to bring it up. When they first met each other, he didn't have the kids because the reason he ghosted her for 2 years was because his sister died the night that he ghosted her. And she was never like, there was some info that she was supposed to get from him that she never did. And so she straight up just thought he ghosted. So when he reached out 2 years later, because now he's been this parent to these kids for a few years, things are back on track. He has never forgotten her. In fact, he's been stalking her to some degree since then, like keeping an eye on her. The house that his family lives in is right next to hers. That's how much he's been stalking her. And he's just obsessed. He's absolutely obsessed. So yes, he keeps a secret from her. He really does. But none of the other things that happen are truly his fault. And a few of the things that are because of his neurodivergence. And I just felt that at every turn, Sal was the one who had to explain himself, right? He was the one who had to say, I'm so sorry, like my brain just doesn't work right sometimes. Or, oh, I'm so sorry, I should have reassured you about this, that, and the other thing. Like, we portray her in one aspect as the confident, protective one. And then in other points, like he has to be the one reassuring her constantly that he's still interested in all this stuff. And particularly when we get to like the final thing where they like have a like little breakup part, I was so pissed at her for believing, well, no, that's not what happened. When she gets fired and it's a fake, right? It's the guy, again, who's fucking with her, who's been the one fucking with them the whole time. When she gets there and is told that she was, or when she finds out she was fired, to believe that Sal knew that and didn't tell her when they have fully been in a relationship for quite a while now, I found inexcusable that she didn't wait to hear what he had to say. She was so insecure, so far into the book, that when someone else, she did not hear it from his face, when she heard it through an email from some other person, she didn't immediately text Sal and be like, dude, what is this? I don't believe that about their characters because they had been working through things through this story. And so for her to believe it and then like go into full cry mode and invite Ben over and they have to like whatever, like Sal did, blah, blah, blah. I was just like, B, you are an insecure hoe right now. Okay. This man has done so much for you. And again, he did lie about a thing. He did. But he explained himself and you accepted it. Like, it'd be one thing if you didn't accept him after it. But he did that thing. He apologized. He laid all his cards out about how it happened and how he got to this point. And you accepted it. And then when you get an email from a random person at the company telling you were fired, instead of immediately texting your boyfriend and saying, sir, what is going on with this? Which, as soon as someone else told him about the email, he figured it out in about 10 seconds and rushed over to her. But no, she, the person he loves, couldn't be the one to tell him. He maybe could have figured out the drama happening with his company a lot sooner if she had opened her damn mouth, okay? So you can see I was frustrated with B, all right? This was a case of I got to the end of the story and I felt like she didn't deserve him. I felt like she didn't deserve him and his wonderful family because she just refused to like stop being so inwardly focused about everything. That is my opinion. I know it got a little saucy there at the end. Salvatore is fucking amazing, okay? And I think a lot of reviews, if you read them, you'll see people say, oh, B was okay, but I loved Sal, and that's why I gave this 5 stars. You are going to see review after review after review of them all saying, Sal was perfect, I'm giving it 5. It would have been 6 if I liked B. Like, I read at least 5 that said that when I wrote my review. And I just can't, because I'm like, there was so much I was annoyed with her about. It's not bad enough to be less than a 4, but I just expect better from Julia Wolf. I haven't had one that is less than a 5 in like 8 books worth, okay? For real. The last time I had a book that was like a 4 was Dear Grumpy Boss, okay? So there was Sincerely Your Inconvenient Wife, P.S. You're Intolerable. There was Jump on 3. There was both books in the Kelly series and both books in this one. So there we go. 8 books since I've had a 4-star read. So the Queen has my allegiance. I'm not dumping Julia Wolf anytime soon. Very excited for Hit the Ground, which I believe is supposed to be Caleb's, the single dad's book in the Kelly series. But I just had to get it out there because, as you've come to know from me, if one of my favorite authors writes a book I don't love, I'm going to tell you, okay? And I still adore Julia Wolf. And there we go. Let's move right along, okay? Okay. But now we have 2 books in a row that I can't really talk about. So that's why I was like, let's let it rip with the other one. So I read A Chance at Love by Beverly Jenkins. Let's get a load of this, couple. Okay. All right. So this is a mail order bride story, kind of. I don't want to spoil that for you. But this is also Rake Appreciation Society pick. And our book club is on Wednesday. And so I'm not going to talk about anything because you got to come to book club. I listened to this though. It was narrated by Kim Stranton. Absolute perfection, the narration. And yeah, this is a single dad. This is another case of a brother who adopted his sister's kids. I'll just say this. It's the kids who want to have a new mama. And they show up at where all of the mail order brides have been brought to in this town. This book actually does connect with like Topaz and a few other books that were all about women who are on this wagon train of mail order brides, which I did not know when I picked this one, because not all of her books like say they're in a series. But we actually read Topaz for the book club like years ago at this point too, so that's funny. But this is about Lorelli and Jake. And Jake's nieces want Lorelli to be their mama. And Jake is like, I'm not just going to marry this random chick. But what's also cool is that this is like Lorelli is kind of like a billionaire. No, we'd say like a very, very wealthy woman. And I won't explain how, but the girl has her own capital, let's just say, and is a very fierce lady. So if you want to know more detailed thoughts about this, definitely come to Crystal and I's live show for book club. We'll be talking about this one and one other. I haven't read that one yet, but I will be reading it shortly that we can talk about. Okay? All right. Now, the final book that I kind of can't talk about. I can talk about it a little bit more because Claire Noel did announce a little bit more about it. So Claire just announced that she is going to be doing a post-apocalyptic fairy tale novella series, and it clips in with, it slides in with the Kindle books, okay? So these books are going to each be, they're all novella length, and they will each be inspired by a different fairy tale, and they will be happening in like different parts of the United States, because if you read the Kindle series, they mostly take place around Kentucky and Tennessee, and then one of them takes place more fully towards the coast at one point, but otherwise they're all in that area. And if you've read Devotion, which takes place very far in the future, that one happens for even further inland in like a big city area. So the novella that I just read, which I can't tell you the name of yet, but it is based on a fairy tale. And this one takes place 3 years after, and we do get cameos from Kindle characters, which was cool. I will say that. Definitely was cool. So this one I read, it was just about 150 pages. I won't tell you what it's inspired by or any of that, but this one was a protection for sex bargain. I love those ones. It is have kind of the vibes of Hold in a way, except not as dark feeling, I will say that. Yeah, it was so good. I had so much fun with this one. Noelle only told me that she was doing this like 2 weeks ago. Well, maybe it was a little longer now. Maybe like 3 weeks ago, she mentioned that she was going to be writing these. I also am excited to tell you her plan is to do release with the audiobooks and like having those ready to drop at the same time. Hopefully that airs out. Hopefully we will. But yeah, she got this written like super fast and it was so fun. Like I just gobbled it up when I was home for my trip. So yeah, can't tell you the name of it or what it was about yet, but as soon as it gets announced, I'll be talking about it. But she put up a really cute post kind of hinting what it was about, and I just love it. It's so cute. And yeah, I can't wait for that. So there you go, guys. Those were the 6 books that I read this last week. And again, sorry this is a bit late going up. Sorry for the less than ideal scenario, but I wanted to get it filmed, get it up to you guys. And now I will get this edited and then I will relax and I will watch Blood of My Blood. I'm so excited for it. So welcome to the new channel members. Thank you so much. And we will see you next time. Bye.